Okay, so guys, when you do this, okay, you're gonna need to use an X-Acto blade, okay, and a pair of scissors, okay, for this. Now, whenever you're using an X-Acto blade, guys, you need to have a board, which the boards are located there in the back of the room in the drawer that says X-Acto boards. This is just scrap mat board, and we just use it to protect the table, so that way when you're cutting through your paper, you're not also putting cuts into the table. So make sure you have a board. It doesn't matter which side you use, just as long as you have a board underneath there, you're fine, okay? Now, got this design right here. Now, you would think probably the thing to do first would be to actually cut out the outside and then cut the inside shapes out last. It's actually the opposite. So we're going to cut out the inside shapes first. And again, we're going to use that with an X-Acto blade. And then after you're done with that, then you're going to cut the outside with just a pair of scissors. Most likely you can get the outside done with just a pair of scissors and you're fine. Although if you do have some kind of tight areas or a lot of bumps, it may be better to do some of those parts with an X-Acto blade. I'd give it a shot with the scissors first, though. Scissors are just easier. Now, the thing about the X-Acto blades, just to forewarn you guys, I did put new blades in them, okay? So they're really sharp, so be very careful, okay? So when you're walking from point A to point B, make sure that blade is pointing down and you're not walking around with it pointing straight up, okay? And then make sure you're always handling it by the handle and not by the top there. Now, sometimes, I will tell you, sometimes on these blades, the top kind of gets loose and then maybe even to the blade starting to fall out. If that's the case, you just want to make sure you actually have to, you kind of have to hold the bottom of the handle, and then you're going to twist this part, and then that will tighten it all up. But if you need some help, just let me know and I'll tighten it for you. All right, but make sure that they're tight on there. So when you do this, the thing to know about the X-Acto blades is that they can't turn. It just can't turn. It's not like a pencil where you can do a curvy line, a zigzag line, or a straight line, whatever you want. These don't act the same way. If you notice that when you're cutting, maybe the paper is tearing rather than getting cut, it could be for two reasons. One, it could be because you have a dull blade, which shouldn't be the case today because you're all starting with a new blade. Or two, you're trying to turn the X-Acto blade. Okay, so the way that I do this, and when I cut these out, I always cut on the outside edge of the pencil line, because if I cut on the inside of the pencil line, this is going to be strange to talk about this small of amount of paper, but if I cut on the inside of this right here, like on that side where I'm pointing, I could be internally making these bridges too small. Could be making them too small before they were fine. So I am going to cut onto the outside of the pencil line, so that way it's just basically making my bridges even just a slight, slightly bigger. Not by a whole lot, but I'd rather be bigger than smaller, okay? So when you do this, you're going to kind of turn your paper, not your X-Acto blade. So if you notice, I'm turning my sketch and my board, but I'm not turning my blade. And so I'm just going to keep doing that until I get all the way around. Now again, I'm turning the sketch and the board and not the blade. And you'll get a much cleaner cut that way. That's the secret with the X-Acto blades. You try to turn the X-Acto blade, you'll tear your paper. You won't cut it. Get it off screen. And then those pieces should just come out like that. Okay? So you're basically going to cut all your inside shapes out like that. After you're done then you can take a pair of scissors and cut the outside. So that's it for that part. All right?